Well, good morning, everyone. We're going to get started here. I just wanted to thank you for joining us. And we'll do a couple quick introductions. And I think I will start. If Todd, if you're there, we'll go to you first.
Hi there, Todd Aronson, CEO of Visit Modesto. And I know you're only down the street, but I am jamming today, so I may have to leave early. Sorry, Trish.
Oh, all good.
Glad you're with us.
And Peggy?
Peggy O'Donnell with Valley Commissions, and I'm on the chamber board.
Dana Ferreira, regulatory analyst from Modesto Irrigation District.
And I'm Trish Christensen, President and CEO of the Modesto Chamber of Commerce.
Bill Robinson, on the board with the chamber, chair of this committee, and also financial planner with Principal Financial here in Modesto. And our guest today,
You want to go right to that? These are the minutes.
yep. No, I was just finishing making an introduction.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to wait till you're ready for me to speak.
Thanks, Al, appreciate that. So real quickly here, we do have the minutes from our last meeting that we had here with the County Office of Education and Tim Zierle's presentation to us on Measure L. So we're trying to make those available for view and see if we need to make any modifications or changes to that. If they appear to be in good order, we can accept a motion to approve those minutes. It's fine.
My name needs to be corrected.
Okay, thank you for that.
My last name spelled incorrectly.
Gotcha. Okay, we'll fix that.
And other than that, it's EIRA. But other than that, it all looks good. So I'll move to approve the minutes with the correction of my last name.
Okay. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. And is there a second out there? Peg? Okay, thank you, thanks. Thank you. Okay, so we actually really don't have just a whole tremendous audience today, unfortunately, and I was hoping to have a little bit of a quick conversation on just some brainstorming on how we can make improvement with that. We've really needed to have participation in the economic development conversation, and how, as a chamber, we can help foster and facilitate that around the area. So if there's any ideas, we're ears to hearing that.
Yeah, I'll share that we've had a huge problem with our board meetings and our tourism district committee meetings and getting a quorum and participation. And you know, I'm hearing it from many of my peers in the industry. You know, it could be a factor of economy, burnout, post-pandemic, etc. I'm with you. I feel the pain, and it's one of the reasons I'm here. I don't want to leave you short. You know, I say I'm going to participate. I'm participating, but
And we appreciate that.
I don't think it's unique.
Well, and I'm getting the sense of that as well, and it's maybe validation to hear that from other channels and sources as well. But it does still seem to be a bit anecdotal, right? We don't really know what the root cause is and what might be triggering that. I know from a notification and a behavior standpoint, we've still been sending out meeting invites, calendar invites, these kinds of things, trying to communicate in advance, all of that. And so I don't think there's been any changes in that way, really.
Would it be worth combining the EDC and GRC for a couple of meetings just for increased attendance?
Could be. I think that that's something that as a board we could discuss and look and see if that would be helpful. I know that historically, the topics covered under those two committees really are very different, both, in most cases.
Right.
Every once in a while, there'll be an initiative where it touches on both, and so we can do either, but there may be some avenue there.
Yeah, and look, I can't sit there and give you a list of speakers right now that would cover both committees, but I'll definitely think about it.
Okay.
Day, time, that's always a concern, and you're never gonna make anyone happy. Right.
I-
It's Wednesday's a bad day, they work for me, but
Yeah, I can say, with the committees that I run for the Central Valley Tourism Association, I chair the executive committee and the marketing committee there. And our board and our tourism district, every single group I'm with, I commit to maximum of 1 hour meetings. And build the agendas around that. And I really try to keep it 45 minutes to 50 minutes so that I can share. And I usually close and open with this whole respect of your time comment. That we're going to keep these short. We're committing to no more than an hour and things like that. It does help. Our last two Central Valley Tourism Association meetings, both the marketing and the full board, went very well and were well attended.
What's your ratio of virtual versus in person?
100% virtual.
Oh, that's the only option. Got it.
For the Central Valley group, and those are my peers. And even our Visit California meetings, they run them really long. They're torture, but we're all virtual.
Okay.
And I think there are some that have to be virtual to cover a wide range like that, but I think Zoom burnout's an issue that is kind of.
I know for
Migrating
Rotary,
in.
we're getting more people in person, but people are pretty adamant. They want to still have the option just
Right.
because sometimes it's hard to get across town or you have meetings bumped up because Zoom allowed that.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
but for the most part, people have returned to in person. But for work, my association meetings, some are still all Zoom because utilities across the state are attending, so it makes it, more feasible to get a better participation versus LA flying up to Sacramento.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing, our board and our tourism district are every other month instead of every month.
We had an executive committee meeting yesterday and there was quite a bit of topic time spent on EDC GRC and attendance. We're also feeling it in our green team general monthly meeting. So that has come up. What you mentioned has come up at least sporadically, combining at times. So, and I'm with you. I actually always thought the Friday for GRC was a bigger challenge than Wednesday, but
My Fridays are generally open, for what I do at work. Thursdays are horrible,
Yeah.
Tuesdays because of board meetings.
same here.
Wednesday, I'm hit and miss with this committee because sometimes it bumps up against a Don Pedro meeting. So, but again, that's just me, but Fridays generally, nobody's scheduling meetings on Friday. So, I do make the GRC.
I think there's fewer people that work all of Fridays or all Fridays in general too. That was the concern on moving it from morning to noon is, well, people leave by noon. Like, well, not necessarily.
Right.
It's across the board. But so all noted, things that will be coming up again as we start planning for next year.
Right, and we'll include these concepts. I was just taking some notes here. We'll include these ideas in some further internal conversation and kick around some ideas, because we're actually already planning into 2023 at this point and doing some brainstorming on speaker lineup and these kinds of things. And so I do appreciate the input.
Could you do a survey monkey and send it to the list of committee?
It's not a bad idea.
Just to see what the feedback is.
Thanks, man.
Want me to just do the regular slideshow, Dallas?
Yeah. Let me go ahead and transition here just in kind of topic. If there's any other thoughts on that, I'm still open to getting that. Feel free to call or email, let me know, those kinds of things. Definitely want to take that into consideration. I do want to go ahead for the benefit of us that are here and talk for you too. It may be helpful for you to know from Dallas as our guest presenter today, the Career Inspiration Center and what we have going on at Office of Education under that flag. So we'd love to hear from you, and if you can kind of walk us through the initiatives that are going on, that'd be great.
All right, thanks everybody. Nice to see you all. Nice to meet you. So I'm Dallas, and I am the Prevention Programs Director for Stanislaus County Office of Ed. So this program was recently launched last year under grant funding. I'm going to go to the next slide, and the focus basically aligns with the initiative you guys are working on, right? We've got kids throughout Stanislaus County who are in 7th through 12th grade, what we specifically focus on, that don't know what career path they want to go on. A lot of kids do not even have access and awareness to some of the opportunities that could lead to high paying wages and jobs in Stanislaus County as well. So here's our mission statement. So our mission statement is for community members, local businesses, and educational agencies to support Stanislaus County youth achieving their college and career aspirations. The Career Inspiration Center will offer hands-on activities, informational seminars, and guidance classes that will lead to post-secondary educational career opportunities in the 4 major industries in Stanislaus County. Right, so next slide, please. So like I mentioned, this was started with the K-12 Strong Workforce Grant. So there was 4 partnering districts on the grant. It was Ceres, Patterson, Houston, and Denair. And we received $400,000 to get this program off the ground. So what happens is it's a field trip, right? So kids are bused to Empire, where the Inspiration Center is. And while they're there, they focus on different industries at one time. So for example, right now from September through the end of October, they're doing all technology. So they're coding robotics, they're doing video game design with their Oculus headsets, they're coding drones, and they're doing all these different activities in the tech industry. And they're also learning about labor market wages in Stanislaus County, post-secondary programs in Stanislaus County, and also job openings in Stanislaus County as well. So as you can see, so we focus on the 4 major industries in Stanislaus. So we got tech, medical, agriculture, and manufacturing. So during the first part of the year, we're doing all this tech stuff. Then in November, we shift over to medical. So from November to February, kids are coming in, they're doing CPR on our dummies, they're doing dentistry work on our mannequins, scraping teeth, doing the waxing, all that kind of stuff. We have anatomy with our 3D anatomy tables, and different types of robotics and medicine activities as well. So kids in these grades are coming in, getting all this shot, kind of shot in the arm kind of rotations where they're working with our staff members on these different industry areas and getting connected to industry as well. At the end of the year, then we focus on ag and manufacturing together. So kids are doing vet tech activities. They're doing things with mechanics. They're taking apart lawnmower engines, different things in the ag and manufacturing industries, like animal science and also horticulture, those kind of things. So a lot of these kids who are participating in these programs have not had this experience, right? They're 7th through 12th grade. They need just some exposure, and they're excited to come and get the information they need. So I mentioned connections to industry. At the end of the day, we have somebody from industry Zoom on and talk to these kids during the day too. So they get a chance to interact with business, ask them what they like about the profession, ask them where they went to school, all those pieces that kids don't necessarily get a chance to talk to kids about. We do summer boot camps as well. So over the summer, we had 10 different industries that we focused on. We expanded to law enforcement, culinary, these 4 industries. We did business classes. And what that was a week-long class where kids came from all over the county, and they got to do hands-on activities and learn about all these labor market wages and data information too. So a huge success last year, and we had over 120 kids participate in that program. We're in contact with some different school districts about doing after-school program support, and with careers, tech and medical being the main focus. Doing some different STEM-related activities for 6th graders. So even going down to lower grades as well. And summer internships, we're exploring this opportunity to expand for students. So Trish, can you click on that website? So I mentioned that kids get a chance to learn about opportunities in Stanislaus County. So What we did is the Stanislaus Cradle to Career team, we worked on this website to develop a directory that showed kids where they could go to if they were in high school, if they're interested in certain industries, post-secondary programs, and also jobs in Stanislaus County. So Trish, if you scroll down a little bit, we focus on, so you click on high school career education programs. So this is a resource and a directory of all the career education programs that we're aware of in Stanislaus County. So if you scroll down, it's broken up by industry. So we got ag, arts and media, building construction trades. So if you scroll down, let's focus on medical, because that's one of the programs. So if you were interested in medical and you came to the Career Inspiration Center, you could click on that link. And it gives you a list of all the high schools and their health programs that they have to offer. So you can very much look and see what's out there if you're interested in pursuing that pathway as a high school student. This is what the kids get to explore and look at and take with them too.
Hey, Dallas, selfishly, can we look at the utilities one?
Yeah.
Because
I'd be curious what's in there for high school too.
it's up or down. Oh, maybe it was up then.
So this list was generated by all of our high school districts.
There it
in the
is.
county.
This one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so not even anything there. So, yeah, basically, but there might be some fits in agriculture possibly with.
Well,
these
and I
types of
thought about
things.
that because I
Yeah.
thought about irrigation and canals and, I mean, just because I know specifically in public utilities across the board through the state, everyone's having a hard time with hiring.
Mhm.
Not that, education and healthcare are facing the same problem, but that's troubling to me, especially when you have a shortage of linemen, a shortage of engineers.
Mhm. Yep, and then engineering is one of these two. So I know there are some engineer courses right there, engineering architecture. At some school sites, but that it goes to my point that, these industries that we're focusing on, just ag, tech, health, and manufacturing are the four major ones under the, jobs list. Not all schools have tech. Not all schools have medical. A lot of them have agriculture because it's, one of the biggest industries, but even manufacturing programs, there's not a ton of manufacturing programs at the high school level. So a big part of our job at the Career Inspiration Center is give these kids some access, some awareness, opportunities so they can pursue those careers. So you go back, you can click on this to go back to the main site right here. So again, that's the high school part. So if you scroll down, we also have post-secondary programs, so adult education and training programs. So again, we can focus on healthcare. So if you scroll down, it's broken up the same way as the last one. So if you go down to medical again, for example, health science and medical technology, it takes them to a page. You can click on that first one. That gives them a list of where it's located, what the program is. And if they click on that, it gives them all the information about cost, duration of the program, and links to their website where they can go and explore it a little bit more. So again, so it's just taking that, once they're done with high school, what are some options in Stanislaus County where they can go to get some of these degree certifications? If you go back, the last main part of this is the join the workforce section. So we can do medical still, while we're on the medical one, and then so health science and medical technology. And this is a list of businesses in Stanislaus County that are under this industry umbrella. And when they click on it, community hospice, for example, it takes them right to their careers page. So they don't have to go navigating, look through all different kinds of things. It takes them to actual resources where they can go on and find some different opportunities in Stanislaus County. Because ultimately our goal is to keep our kids here, right? We've got a lot of talented kids who leave and they never come back. So if they're aware of some of the resources out there and where they can go to earn high salary jobs, we keep them here, which is one of our main goals too. So that's the general website that we explore with the kids and give them access to. If you go back to the presentation first, please. Okay. All right, so here's some data. So, what are the kids getting when they're coming to us? What are they getting when they're leaving? So 85% of the students reported that they were more motivated to pursue a career in the industry after visiting our program. So large number of kids are like, hey, this is pretty cool. I want to explore this and take a little bit further. 78% of kids were more familiar with the post-secondary programs and job opportunities, so from the website. 45% of students reported that they had no exposure or limited exposure to the industries that they're getting. So, we want to make sure, we give them access to it. 61% enrolled that they have not done any research or learned about careers in the tech field, because that's what we're doing right now is technology during this part year. And then we have a high number of this, students who are Hispanic, African-American, Asian, or 2 or more races at 69% this year. And 60% of students last year were low socioeconomic. So hitting a lot of our students need that targeted information.
Did I skip something?
No, so you're in the last one. So what I'd like to do now is you can click on the website. So that is our Career Inspiration Center website. So again, this is our second year doing the program. We started with 4 districts last year. We're up to 12 districts this year. So
So
we started
exciting.
about 550 kids last year. We're going to serve over 2,000 kids this year in the last year of the grant. We did apply for another round of grant funding and we should hear back in the middle of November. But what is nice is our additional districts have joined on our contracted services. So they're paying for their kids to come to the program. So this is just a general rundown of what the program is, who it supports. And so there's tons of other components that go along with this that SCO does. So we do not want this to be a one shot in the arm and then it's done, right? So we have different programs along the way with SCO in terms of like access and awareness and program opportunities with like Destination Medicine, which is an event that kids can go to. About 600 kids attend every year. Friendship Expo just happened. We had 850 kids across the county come to that program. Occupational Olympics is another big one that has about 800 kids. So we don't want it to be a one-day field trip and we're done. That's why we offer the after-school program opportunities, summer programs, working with businesses on internships, and just making sure that we give kids all these resources that they can to reach their career goals. And then if you click on this, so this is our general flyer that we use just to advertise and market. So if you want to scroll down, it can show you some of the activities that we have to offer for our different programs. So for health, CPR first aid, we're doing phlebotomy this year, robotics and medicine, anatomy, dentistry, and x-ray technician. So through the course of the whole day, kids are getting exposed to doing all of these type of things, just like really quick and getting information. We have local dentists and doctors do our videos for us. So they're basically like the instructors and our staff just kind of lead the hands-on activities. So we have industry very much involved. And then ag and manufacturing, 3D printing, virtual welding, small engine repair, vet tech, and maintenance mechanic type work. And then for tech, like I described earlier, we do the robotics, Oculus, drones, coding, video game design, and laptop exploration. So yeah, lots of great things going on. We're really excited about the progress that we've made, and we look forward to supporting kids and families as much as possible with their career aspirations. So that's my presentation about our program. We're a lot going on, and looking to serve many districts and schools.
So I'll throw a couple comments in through our business and education committee is where Dallas and I first started connecting, and through that he invited me out for a tour, and I happened to be there when they were doing animal tech. And the first thing that really jumped out at me is it never occurred to me that there are CPR dummies for dogs. And I walked in and there were dog models on the floor ready to be resuscitated.
Yep. Yeah.
And they had an animal anatomy table, and it was a frog that day. And I literally unlayered a frog all the way down to the organs on the inside. So the tech that they're using, that the kids are getting to use to explore, I mean, it's the tissue and then the muscle and then the vascular, they get to see it all in that way. It was fascinating to see hands-on. So we're here, as you've heard me say over and over, to help support and bridge more businesses into the awareness of all the great stuff happening out here. So. He's probably tired of hearing it.
No, that's great.
I love it. I love the things going on.
Yeah, and the anatomy table she's talking about, so it has animals and humans, and it's a real cadaver. And they slice the person layer by layer, and the kids can zoom it down and see layer by layer. They can do surgeries on there. It shows the blood flow that circulates. They can isolate the heart and zoom in. It is amazing technology.
They have blocks on certain areas on the human body. I just remembered I saw that one
Yep.
too.
Yep. Yeah.
It is kids.
Kids are loving it. It's great to get them some experience.
Well, the depth of detail is great. I'm glad to hear of the expansion of the number of students this is reaching.
Oh.
And as far as participants and attendance and that. So, Yeah, one of the questions that I had in these different areas, clearly we can see the four areas that we really focused on here impacted in the employment and labor market in this area. So I know there's a lot of connectivity there, but within each four, if you drill down, how frequently would you say those individual courses or areas of instruction are reviewed, modified, that kind of thing, based off of what we see changes in the local labor market and that here to support that?
Yeah, so the great thing is we can be flexible. We're not tied down to standards and curriculum, and we can work with businesses to redevelop things, especially like our medical one. We work with Institute of Technology, Ezra and his team, to revamp our anatomy lesson and do a phlebotomy lesson. So we're more than open to being updated with the current industry standards and to make adjustments. We're not tied down to, restrictions on curriculum and development. And even if businesses, want to partner with us on summer opportunities, like I said, we weren't tied to these four in the summer. We expanded to 10 of them. The reason why we're tied to these four is because that's what the grant focused on, because we had to show some data, labor market information. So if, we have, organizations that want to jump on board and say, hey, we want to do something, in partnership with MIT, for example, with, irrigation, we could definitely work with you guys, put a team together and get some curriculum going for a short program to get some exposure.
Well, I was gonna ask you about your apprenticeship expo. I hadn't heard of it, and I've heard of the Occupation Olympics,
Mhm.
because I sit on the Education Foundation board.
Yeah.
But the apprenticeship expo, can you expand on that, like what happens?
Yeah, sure. So this is, I think, the fourth year that we've done it. So what happens is we partner with local apprenticeship programs, and I think there's 15 different construction trade apprenticeship programs.
I'm hoping SEIU or the IBW.
Yes, IBW,
Okay.
yeah, Greg Vincelette and Bobby Stutzman and Doug Murdoch are some head people that we kind of work with, and they work with other apprenticeship programs. So anyways, 15 of them go to the MJC Ag Pavilion. They set up I-beams, they set up welders, they do brick mason work, and the kids spend a half a day there going through each apprenticeship organization. They do some hands-on stuff and learn about what their program is, what the wages are, how long their program is, and then they get to hear what an apprenticeship is. A lot of kids have no idea what it means to be an apprentice, and what the process is to become an apprentice. So again, over I think 800 kids came this year, which is the most we've ever had. And then one year we actually had 4 kids get job offers from places while they were there too. So yeah, huge event. That's really
exciting.
successful.
And that happens once a year.
Once a year. Yep.
I have a question, and I may have missed this in the beginning. Are those 4 programs specific to secondary education because of the grant is specific to secondary education?
Yes, 7 through 12, the funding has to be tied to those grade levels. However, we can do some contracted work with districts like the after school program where they're looking to support 6th graders. So that's kind of a separate offshoot program. But yeah, for this grant program, it is 7 through 12 for the grant requirements.
And those 4 specific fields and specific to secondary education only?
Correct. Yeah. The ag, tech, health, and manufacturing is the ones that we focus on at the Inspiration Center.
I'm still not clear. Are those 4 specifically required by the funding, or is that a SCO thing?
So that was what we wrote in the grant after doing labor market data for Stanislaus County. So in order to get the grant, one of the things we have to put in there is how does it tie to the biggest impact for that community? So when we did the research, ag tech and healthcare were, by far the highest, and then tech weaves very much into all of those programs now. So which is why we included technology into that.
And for me, it may be selfish because over 6,000 jobs in Stanislaus County are in the service industry. It's a $500 million industry. It's one of the top 4 industries in the country. And it has the highest churn rate right now in the country in the service industry. so I know that's a big deal. Like I wouldn't be where I am today if I wasn't a dishwasher or cook at some point. So that's why I'm asking in that context.
Yeah, and I'm with you. So in the summer, we can expand. So we did culinary, but if there are some different avenues that we can explore, I would be more than open to seeing what we can do to partner with getting some kids, you know, some different program information, even internship opportunities, which fits well with your industry too.
Yeah, great. Trish has my contact information there. So by all means, let's talk about that. And I sit on the Cal Travel Board where we talk about this a lot. And there are a lot of programs and might be other grant opportunities that we can provide you access to specific to the industry.
Great.
Awesome.
Awesome.
And then I just wanted to throw this out. I love what you're doing. It's nothing against anything there. I was fortunate enough to have dinner with a gentleman recently who works for Rivian. He used to be with Chrysler. And he was sharing with me that there is a 400,000 person shortage of welders in the United States right now. And a majority of that leaning towards the production facilities that are EV cars. So he actually was looking at Modesto. We talked about the demographics quite a bit. And he talked about the fact that Modesto could be a major opportunity location for corporations because there is no place in the country that's focusing on developing these jobs that they need in the production lines for the automobile manufacturing, especially of the future. And he said they're paying up to $130,000 a year plus benefits for those positions.
Wow.
So, you know, it may be something that, and Trish, it might be something that collectively we all start talking about. I know Stanislaus 2030 has their own mission, whatever it may be, but I don't know if they're looking at the makeup of our population, the fact that we're an ag manufacturing destination, and that there is this unique opportunity out there that it seems no one's taking advantage of, especially now that the future's staring at us with EV and that manufacturing process. So I toss it out and would be happy to discuss it more in the future with these kind of programs, because not everybody needs to go towards secondary education.
I know that Dallas has the ability to teach welding because that was one other area. There was a group of kids with ocular devices over their heads and their hands all floating in the air. And he stopped and he goes, they're practicing welding and I have no concern of them burning themselves. So.
The liability piece is nice on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I grew up on a dairy, so I welded and did all those kind of things growing up. So it's pretty real. You know, amazing how the VR technology helps out. It doesn't, you know, it's not exactly like, you know, doing the real thing, but it was cool to see the kids get to do that and not get burned.
Well, this guy was telling me that even in his Chrysler days before he went to Rivian, that there is no machine technology, no AI, no robot that can weld remotely close to how a human can weld.
Yep, I believe it.
And he was like, gosh, if you could produce 1,000 welders a year, you would have so many companies coming to Modesto to recruit, it would be insane, or moving facilities there.
Yeah, and Todd, what you said is exactly what we want to do. So if there is new technology coming out, if there's a person in the industry that wants to come in and, you know, support us with our manufacturing program and give some kids just some general exposure to it, we can plug it into a lesson where they can see the value in it, hear the wages, hear about, you know, all the great perks to it. That's kind of how we make the tie to industry, and we can be adaptable. With our kids too.
He was laughing that sometimes he needs to call them after work and like, they're no, I'm off the clock. You know, I only work my 8.5 hours a day and then I go home. I come back tomorrow, you know, see you later. He said it's unique for someone making 130 plus grand. So
I agree.
Mhm.
I bet we could work with the unions on coming up with something along those lines. So this is great what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Any other thoughts?
Yeah, great program.
Very
Thank
cool.
you. Yes.
Or did you take over?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Oh,
He
you
retired.
Ricky.
Yep, yeah. So he's in retirement. I see your pictures. on
Yes, he
Facebook
is.
all the time,
Golfing.
and- Yep,
Golfing in the grave.
that's right. That's right. So I asked to keep this program when I switched over, like, hey, I want to keep the Career Information Center, please. Take on all the other stuff, but this was, my baby that helped get started. So we're make sure to get going in the right direction.
Good. Good. Well, it's great to see the education opportunities for the students coming up, because that really is that trained workforce that we need
Mhm.
to plug into the local economy. So,
And an idea for
Good
future
work,
meetings,
yeah.
if you want to have a meeting out of the Career Inspiration Center and bring people, that way they can kind of see what it's all about, see the kids doing some hands-on stuff. We're open Tuesday through Thursday right now, and some Mondays and Fridays, so. It's an idea to kick around. Want to get some people out there. Check it out.
We're gonna have to work on getting the link.
Yeah.
For utility.
Yeah, for sure, for the high school.
I mean, I just think there's not, you have the two oldest irrigation districts in the county, in this county for the state.
Right.
With TID and MID. And
It's a missing piece right now.
it
there.
really is, it just, especially the EV component with the state going EV and MID and TID being part of that. I think there's a missing piece.
Yeah.
Utility, I mean. No one lives without their utilities.
Mhm.
Then we have the water treatment plant, so I think there's a missing opportunity.
That just means it's untapped so far.
Yeah, I just,
And so the way that we pull all the information is you have to align, it has to be aligned to a career pathway, right? One of those 15 that were up there. So it could very much be that the school district is called ag or environmental agriculture or something. So it might fit exactly what you're doing. It's just not titled energy, it's not titled
Right.
that way. So,
can see
I get it.
and then, and MJC, I know they have a program that's on the post-secondary one. I'm not sure off the top of my head if there's other ones in that area. But, no, I agree.
And I don't,
Huge
pretend-
opportunities for kids in your guys' world.
and look at, they pay well.
Yeah,
So,
right.
and I don't pretend to know what type of education any of our ditch tenders have. I know it's obviously with the linemen, it's a little more involved and it takes years to, become a lineman, but, there's just, we have mechanics because we have a fleet, so there's a wide variety of jobs within the public utility versus just, engineer or a water ops.
Well, you have a tech department. I think MID
Yeah.
does, I think MID does our after school, our Zoom calls at the end of the day, our industry calls. So I think you guys are on our list and somebody's already coming on and talking to kids about the opportunities in tech.
Okay. I'll have to ask
99% sure 99% sure MID was on our list of businesses that are jumping on our Zoom calls at the end of the day.
Yay.
Yeah, so I know you're involved in that one.
But if that one's specific to tech, then there may be other areas where they can plug in.
Yeah,
And even-
when ag and manufacturing
Yeah.
comes
Even
at
our-
the end of the year, you guys would fit there too.
I'm gonna bring it up to our GM and, we'll figure it out.
Perfect.
So in January, through the Business and Education Committee and our long-standing partnership with where we were trying to go before the pandemic, in January, the chamber is partnering with Dallas, and some of these elements from the Inspiration Center and MJC and Modesto City School and Sylvan District initially were bringing all of this in a similar fashion to the convention center, and we're creating vendor space. And not only will we be inviting businesses, utilities, everyone to come in and have their own space where they can show some hands-on interaction, have brief conversations with students. They're going to have students from the different CTE pathways represented near the industries that align with those pathways. That's a new piece that we hadn't thought of a few years ago. And the students will do an interest inventory, which will give them a little personal insight on what their natural interests might be. And then these booths and businesses will all be coded to match that. And it'll be an all-day thing of busing 8th graders in and out. We will then extend that back to all the same businesses to have, we're hoping this time, students come out and do video and interviews to get snapshots of a day in the life of that career, and add that into our virtual platform, which we did get off the ground during the pandemic. And that's for 6th graders to explore. So we're trying to help answer this career exploration to 6th graders, and then now bringing 8th grade And then I keep telling Dallas, I want to bring the business community out to Occupational Olympics and see it in motion. I got to
Yeah,
go
it's
this past,
impressive.
I got to go last time. The amount of culinary kids competing right there. And then the robotics kids competing and watching the balls get flung about. They had so many things in motion. I'm like, the business community doesn't know that the kids know so much. They need to see them in motion like that.
Right.
That's a cool opportunity.
It is impressive.
We haven't done. an offsite
That's a good
Rotary
idea.
meeting in a long time.
That's a good idea.
To the
It's
Career
more
Inspiration
exposure.
Center, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's more exposure.
that's
there.
worth the drive out there. That is, I was there an hour maybe, but
Yeah, I
Got
don't
to
know how
try
I,
it all.
and I work closely with Vicky too. I just clueless about this stuff.
Well, they have a lot of programs. This isn't the only
Right.
one.
There's a lot-
I
lot
know.
going
We
on.
launched it last year, so this is like still in it. So we keep building on it, yeah.
You feel better now?
I do.
Yeah, there you go.
It's, and especially sitting on the board for the Education Foundation, I'm just like, why? Why
Right.
have did I black out at a meeting?
Yeah, it's new. Yeah, we're growing. So like I said, 4 districts to
No,
start,
and
12,
it's much
12
needed.
now, so.
And I saw that y'all with Vol,
Yeah,
and I'm guessing the Manufacturing Council.
yeah, so yeah, Doug Murdoch. and,
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, his group, yep. There you go. So,
Well, and I think too,
Awesome.
when we're talking about just the way that these concepts and programs are presented in an educational envelope. Trying to figure out how best to say, the way to keep kids motivated, right? Hey, look, this is something you get to participate when you get into 6th grade. You know, start hearing that as that message in 4th and 5th grade, right? In a year or two, you could be doing this. Oh, that looks really cool. And when they're in 6th grade, okay, in a year or two in junior high, 7th and 8th grade, we make these programs available. They look like this, they feel like this, you know, short little 3 to 5 minute video. Would you like to participate in something like this?
You
In a
need to
year or
make
two,
it
you
30
could,
seconds.
right? That kind of forward looking thing, right?
It needs to build on it.
Keep
So,
that
yeah,
carrot out there, right?
I agree.
Yeah,
We need to get more opportunities for the kids. Like I said, a lot of districts don't have medical programs.
Right.
They have one class. You know, tech is definitely not out there. Manufacturing and series has a program. But you know, there's not a ton of stuff out there for kids, so. They're gonna build on it.
yeah, good,
Perfect.
good, fantastic. Good work.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good job, good job. Fantastic. So maybe just in kind of a little bit of a wrap-up way today, looking at calendar, we are trying to confirm our last speaker of the year. Looking at that, our last meeting would be on Wednesday, December 7th for 2022.
7th or the 3rd?
I think Wednesday the 7th, right? Does it say the 3rd on there?
It would be the first Wednesday.
Oh, wow, okay.
Because I,
December of 2022, the 7th is the first
The 7th.
Wednesday.
it says the 3rd on the.
So
Yeah,
Lovely.
we'll make
Thank
that-
you.
we'll make that correct.
because I'm like, I. can't
Which is a
make-
Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't. I'm gonna, if it's a Wednesday, I know I'm at a conference,
Oh,
but
it's a
yeah,
Saturday.
no, 7th.
Thank you for that.
So, good eye, Dana, thank you.
And dark in January because it just comes up too early in the
Right.
post
Yeah,
holiday
It's
buzz.
right on top of New Year's and all of that, so we'll get notifications out, and again, just feel free to invite. This is an open committee. We would love to have as much attendance and participation as we can. Like we talked about before the presentation, we'll continue to do some brainstorming and consideration of the different ideas that were shared, so I do greatly appreciate that as well. Any other?
Yeah, a
announcements we need
couple
to
of
make?
quick things. I have to take the opportunity to say tomorrow morning is our last Rise and Shine with CEOs breakfast. We're holding it at the Park Independent Living Facility in their president's room. If you haven't been there, it is a stunning facility. Institute of Tech is bringing the breakfast, so it'll be student-driven meal. We do need you to register. We have room for just a few more at this point for tomorrow and Saturday. The Chamber's new family-focused community event, annual event, is taking place on Saturday from 9 to 2 in the Dryden parking lot. It's our first family cycling health and wellness festival. We are encouraging people to use the Tuolumne Riverside Trail to ride or walk from 7th and Tuolumne up onto the trailhead on Nice and then into the parking lot, or drive over near Aspire and John Thurman, park anywhere and walk in. We have a fire coming out to grill hot dogs to the first 300 people that want one. We're collecting tchotchkes for Saks right now. Kaiser came on board as our biggest sponsor, which I greatly appreciated. We have the Children's Museum, and we have Boomers, and we have Love Modesto will be in the parking lot with us. We're doing a ribbon cutting for the Boys and Girls Club new location in that lot at 11 o'clock. And First Tea's being highlighted in partnership with the club. So we're covering all the youth, family focused things that we can as our inaugural one, but the energy and buzz that I'm getting, it will definitely be bigger and bolder next year. So looking forward to getting this first one done and learning from it and building on it for next year. So if you're out and about, join us.
Fantastic. Okay, well, I think with that, we are adjourned for today. Thank you for being here and participating.
Perfect.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Todd.
Appreciate it.
Have a good rest of your day. Thank you, Dallas.